Howdy-do everybody and welcome back. This is CT over at the NYC Indian, and today we're going to be reviewing 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, Time's Up. This is going to be brought to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. So let's dive right on in. So we start off the scene with Kim and Usman, and they're going for a stroll. And she basically confronts him and says that, you know, she's not happy with the lack of affection, and basically she wants the goods because she flew out here and like that's it, that's what she expects from him. And he's like, well, we're not even in a relationship officially, like how are you putting these demands on me? And then she starts going on about how he has to talk to her son, and like, what is your son's blessing going to do for this union? It's not going to make Usman's heart grow more fonder towards you. Like, I'm just not understanding this. So, you know, after the ultimatums and stuff like that, finally Usman just caves. He says, all right, listen, tonight will be the night and I will show you the African way. And I was like, God, just like, you know, if cringing through the television is a thing, that was a thing for me the other night. I'm telling you, I could not believe this. I was like, you know, what am I watching here? It's so uncomfortable. But I guess, I mean, to keep the hustle going, he has to eventually break down, right? I mean, how long can he string her along when she's like, if I don't get this, no more PlayStation. I wish she didn't say that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, she's giving him gifts, and I don't know if she's providing additional financial support to him, but you know, he's trying to secure the bag before she leaves. So I guess we'll see how that goes. So now we have Hamza, and he's shopping with his mom for his groom suit. And, you know, he's doing different outfit changes, and we love a good outfit change over here at the NYC Indian. I love fashion, right? And, you know, his mom helps him pick out his suit, and then he tells her, like, how he's starting to feel apprehensive about the wedding because of all of Memphis's demands, which, you know, I think are culturally perhaps like just unfamiliar to him. And his mom is like, well, what's next? Because she doesn't want to see her son go through what she went through. And the mom is basically not feeling Memphis, you know, right? We already figured that out. So yeah, that's, you know, I thought it was interesting that we didn't get to see a scene of Memphis doing any wedding shopping while she's there. So maybe we'll get that next week. Maybe she goes shopping with a sister or something like that. But yeah, he's really feeling a little bit apprehensive. But yeah, I don't want to say any spoilers because there has been a lot floating out there about Hamza and Memphis's current status. So please do not, you know, no spoilers in the comment section, you guys, okay? But I know it is out there. So we'll talk about those guys later. So let's get to Johnny and Ella. And Ella has decided, she's just made up in her mind, she's going to Dubai. She's going to get her man no matter what. So now she's really excited. She calls Johnny on video and lets him know, hey, I'm coming to Dubai. And he's like, Dubai, you know? And his response was so lukewarm, and then he starts going on about, you know, I don't know if this is a good idea, and him and Han and all this stuff. And then finally she says, listen, if you do not meet me in Dubai, then we may just have to turn this into an open relationship and just, you know, start seeing other people, because I can't be hanging on a string, basically waiting around for you, and you're not making the effort. So, you know, of course he's like, oh, I don't want you to do that, you know, but Johnny does not like her like that, okay? Now, I'm not saying that Johnny does not have an objective to get here. I think he does plan to do it, but I think he's nervous. He's scared about, you know, the family situation, his son, which, I mean, I don't know about leaving your son for that amount of time to go be with a woman for that many months. I mean, you're already, you know, the kid already doesn't have his mom. I don't know about all of that. I personally, you know, if I was a single parent and I met someone, you know, I know that an overseas situation is not going to work for me to go overseas to see someone when I have a kid. I'm gonna just drop my kid off at my cousin's. Like, what? You know, so that part I really do not like about Johnny, just willing to leave his kid. But you know, to each his own. So yeah, she finally gave him the ultimatum. So I was like, oh, okay, look at somebody standing up for herself. So, you know, we'll see. Do you guys think that she's actually gonna make it to Dubai? I mean, I am very excited to see this. Oh, and wait a minute. Oh, why did she start off the scene wearing that? You know, it looked like she had a scarf or a sheet or something, like she's trying to, like, you know, show that she's gonna be, you know, draped in a hijab or something like that. I'm like, listen, you're already skating on thin ice with a lot of people right now, the way you're always doing this like Asian fetishization and stuff like that with Johnny. And you know, you gotta really, you know, the cultural insensitivity can be quite, I'm not, I don't know, I don't think it's intentional, but I think that, you know, you just have to be a little bit more self-aware that, you know, it's very easy for things to be misinterpreted, and don't leave that to other people's imagination. If you get to Dubai and you have to wear a hijab or, yeah, a hijab, then yeah, okay, that's, you know, whatever. You've made the decision to go there, and if that's the rules and you have to do it, then that's another story. But I don't know, like starting a video off like that, it's like, that's not a cosplay item. You know what I'm saying? That's not one of your little swords and your little blonde wigs, your Sailor Moon outfits or something like that. That is a part of someone's culture. So I was just like, you know, side-eyeing her on that one, but whatever. I don't expect much from her. So now we have Ben, who's still sitting in that restaurant for the past 2 weeks because I didn't give us an episode last week. And who strolls in? None other than the phantom of the catfish herself. It is Mahogany, and girlfriend is not looking like her picture. I understand we do enhancements, we wear makeup and, you know, corsets and all these different things to give ourselves an enhancement, but I mean, to that level, especially someone that you've never met, that definitely qualifies as catfishing to me. Because don't tell me that if he had been walking down the street in Lima, that he would have walked past her and be like, oh, Mahogany. No, he would have walked past her and kept going. She wasn't recognizable. And he's like, well, she looks a little different than her picture, but, you know, and her reception was completely lukewarm. She never thought she was gonna meet this guy, okay? She just thought she was gonna trick him out of some cash, and you know, and that would be that. But yeah, that was, oh yeah, that was, what's that show, Catfish on MTV? That would be a good episode if they had Ben and Mahogany on there. Oh boy, okay, I had to take a deep breath before this one. We go back to Gino and Jasmine, and honey, she is in the midst of her fuel-ridden tirade, and she's like, you know, she's packing, and she's, you know, she's ready to leave the resort, and she tells him, you know, I really loved you, and da-da-da-da, and, you know, he says, well, I did it basically just to make her jealous. That's all I did. I just did it to make her jealous. And then Jasmine, later on, you know, she leaves him, and then later on, she's like in her own little cabin or whatever, and she's stewing, and she's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna go back. And she goes back, and she walks in there just like with just her bathing suit. She is like, you know, shoes on. I don't think did she have on, it looked like she didn't have on any shoes. And she walked in there, oh my gosh, she let him have it. She starts going off on him, you know, saying the same stuff that she was saying before, basically. But then girlfriend reaches over and she takes that hat, she snatches it off, and she hops away. See, she reminds me of those girls that, like, you know, like to get into fights and stuff like that. Like, they know how to be, you know, they're kind of petite, and they know how to like get into little places and then, you know, run or scurry away real quick. That's what she reminded me of. Like, oh my God. And when she took that hat off and we saw that soul patch in the back of his head, oh Jesus, Mary and Joseph, that mess was so funny. And you could tell he felt so exposed in that moment. Like, he didn't know what to do. Oh my God, that was too much. So yeah, and and she was like, you want to show people my nudes? I'm going to show you nude. This is your version of nude. Oh man, she took off with that hat. Oh God, that was some good TV right there, boy. So, and before she took off his hat, you know, she threatens to expose his tiny pics. Okay, so apparently she wasn't the only one taking pictures. They have pictures of one another. And, you know, she's like threatening to expose his pictures and, you know, saying that he's not allowed to talk to his exes. He's going to have to cut off communication. So even though she's in this tirade, it sounds like she is basically going to forgive him at some point. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, Gino looks really, he looks afraid, basically, and he should be. And I can't even feel sorry for this guy. You go to another country, you know, based off completely off of lust with someone who gave you every red flag in the world, and, you know, you're spending money that you don't have. You know, now you're going to have to worry about going back to work and maybe having new pictures of yourself as well spread across, people laughing at you. I mean, it's such a mess. And you're in another country. That's the bottom line. You're in another country. What if, you know, I mean, even though it's filmed, but what if she says to the police, you know, he hit me or something like that, and it's like off camera or something like that. You could be arrested and you're in another country. Like, you have to think about these things. I mean, so much. You have to vet people. You have to really spend as much time as you can getting to know them and making sure that they have the qualities that you want in a person. But the problem with Gino is he was thinking with the wrong head, basically. Okay? Had he been thinking with his brain, then he would have seen right away, like, oh, okay, maybe this is not quite what I want. Unless you like all that craziness. Now, some people do. Some people like a lot of drama. They like that, you know, being all fired up and being crazy and stuff like that. Some people are like that, but Gino is not that guy. So he's basically putting himself at risk. He's putting his own safety at risk because he doesn't know what can happen. And, you know, he was so irresponsible and so stupid to post that girl's pictures. Listen, if anybody's pictures you're going to post, it better not be that. It better not be Jasmine's, because girlfriend, like, she was ready to slice him a new one. Listen, you're in another country. I cannot stress this enough. You are in a country full of jungle, okay? Like, listen, you never know who people may know and stuff like that. They may have a brother or, you know, I mean, people, you ever watch that show Locked Up Abroad? Sometimes people disappear. So, I mean, you have to be very, very careful when you're handling these delicate situations of love and not being honest and posting people's pictures and stuff like that on their turf, in their country. Yeah, absolutely nuts. And I felt no remorse. Yes, of course, Jasmine is completely out of her freaking mind. But I had zero compassion for Gino. Zero. He got what he deserved, basically. He better be lucky she didn't smack the taste out of his mouth, because somebody would have did that to me and I lived in another country and I knew my local laws. I know they're not gonna, like, there's no extradition. Boy, he would have got cracked. I mean, man, posting somebody's news like that, oh man, Gino, you are so stupid. So back to Usman and Kim. So it's time for her to get her son on the phone, and you know, Usman gets to meet the son for the first time, and the son just sounds like so over it. He's basically rolling his eyes without rolling his eyes, and he's like, so what is it you like about my mom? And he's like, well, you know, she's always there by my side. She always supports me, and I just love, you know, I just love how she's always there, and, you know, she takes care of me, and when he starts saying that, and the son goes, well, that sounds more like a personal assistant to me. I said, boy, out of the mouths of babes, okay? Well, he's not a child, but, you know, her son, like, there was no better breakdown right there. He wasn't even, it's not like he got to watch the footage that we saw of her, like, you know, telling the crew to do this and do that. It was like he was right there and had seen the whole thing. Like, her basically being like a crew member. Sounds like an assistant to me. I said, well, there we go. Like, okay, you're so worried about your son's opinion. Why don't you listen to that part right there? So, you know, she goes off, and, you know, the men have their own little, you know, the men folk have their own little talk, and now she's all giddy. I mean, instead of like assessing what he has noticed, her son, she's just excited at the fact that they're actually having a conversation. And yeah, they wrapped up the call. You know, her son still did not basically seem convinced. And why should he be? And, basically after that, it was all official about the, the getting down and, the African way and all this stuff. And, she's really excited now. So I guess it's going to be official. Everything's going to, fall in place, I guess. So now we have Mike, and he is about to go back to Colombia, but before he does that, he speaks to his male relatives about her lack of communication and her wanting or insisting, kind of demanding that he buy her a new pair of boobs, or, they're not gonna go forward or something like that. So anyway, he gets on the plane and goes to see her. He gets there and she's looking at him like, why are you here? And she literally told him, I told you, like, I need a new set of chi-chis and I wasn't playing, so I'm not really sure why you're in my country. And you can tell he's feeling down or whatever. They wind up going to some nightclub or some bar or something. She's partying like a rock star. He's tired. He had a really long flight. She decides to leave him at that club. Now, a same bar or club that she can go to any night of the week, at least be respectful to him. Did he not halfway furnish that house that you guys live in? Is he not like helping to support you and your family? And it was just so rude to me. Like, I know you're not into him, but you should have just really put your foot down when he told you that he was coming. Because as far as I'm concerned, that was not a surprise visit. Or maybe it was. I don't think he surprised her. She wasn't happy to see him, but it seemed like she knew that he was coming. Anyway, she said that basically she just lost the feeling. Whatever she had is gone now. And, he's just not her type is the bottom line. And she was trying to stick it in. She was trying to stick it out and hang in there. She's probably met somebody else since then, because the way that she left him at that bar, you don't do that unless you got some other little boo thing in the corner. You know what I mean? She's got somebody. Allegedly. It just kind of seems that way. And Mike needs to just walk away. She is not into him. And I understand that enough things haven't happened for him to feel like it's over. It hasn't been like some major fight, or he didn't, catch her like stealing money or something like, Gino and Jasmine's situation. But it's still enough, because he's questioning, like, does she still love me? I don't know if she really loves me. She doesn't. Okay, so save your money and go on another website and make sure you put in your correct height and you give a recent picture so people can really see what you look like. And not to say that he didn't before, but just, going forward, and meet somebody else. There is somebody out there that will accept you, but you need to first work on your cleanliness and just basic hygiene type stuff. It's disgusting. You turn the girl off. She was already not physically into you, but then the habits just turned her off. So there's no way to really recover from that. So yeah, he just needs to cut his losses and move on. So now we finally catch up with Memphis, and she's on the phone with her friend, basically doubling down on the fact that she needs a prenup signed by him. And, she does have a lot to lose, right? And, but she also says that she needs to reveal to him that she spent the one night with her ex that one night. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why is that so important to tell him? It doesn't really have anything to do with anything. And who's gonna, nothing happened. Who cares? It just doesn't, to me, it's just so irrelevant. I don't know why she's making a big deal, but I guess she just doesn't want to take any chances that anything comes out or anything. But who's going to tell? Is her ex-husband going to be like, yeah, you were at my house that one night? Unless he's like that. Maybe he's a vindictive type, so she's just, trying to cover her tracks. But anyway, she decides to let him know. And before she could even get the words out, then all of a sudden, he goes, listen, before you tell me anything, we need to basically kind of cool the brakes on this wedding. He's worried, it's too much for him. He's scared. He's got his mom in his ear. Well, I wouldn't say in his ear, because his mom, considering what went down, she could be a lot worse. I think his mom is still handling it considerably well for someone who, like I said, we have to take all these cultural considerations. We have to look at them, right? She could have took a stick and started beating Memphis when she discovered that those two had slept together under her roof. She was disappointed, but she didn't go crazy like she could have, right? So, but she is definitely voiced her opinion about, you know, when he said to his mom earlier, like, oh, you know, she keeps bringing these different things up and stuff, and his mom's like, you know, I don't know. So I don't think it's like, the mom doesn't like Memphis. I don't think she ever will, but I don't think she's gonna be like telling her son, like, definitely don't marry that woman, or like, I'm gonna, you know, cut you off or something like that. I don't think it's quite to that level. But yeah, you know, the fact that his mom is not happy about it, I think is definitely weighing on him. And so, you know, we'll see next week, you know, because she's gonna tell him what she needs to tell him about her ex-husband and stuff like that. And, you know, and he's like, are you crazy? You know, like, you can tell he's upset. So we'll see what happens with these two, but I don't think it's going to be an absolute deal breaker for them. I just wish they were in different stages of their life, because then they could be a nice couple. But yeah, we'll see what happens with those guys next week. So Jasmine forgets her bag. She has to go back to the room and get it from Gino's room, and he apologizes to her. They eventually sit down and talk outside, and she accepts his apology. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, the job market must be tight in Panama for her to take him back like that. But, you know, this is just a complete toxic couple to begin with. It's just, you know, she's extremely controlling and abusive. He is just an idiot, and not, he doesn't think. He just, you know, to send those pictures like that was a complete violation. So I guess, you know, their dysfunction will continue next week, so we will check back in then. This particular episode, other than her completely going off on him, which was not even that great to me, I didn't really enjoy this episode that much. I think I just want to hear a little bit more from this Mahogany, you know, catfish background story. But anyway, so you guys let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you guys next week. You guys take care, stay safe, and Chipi Salacho.